Okay, James chapter 2, verse 13. Reading from the King James Bible, quote, "For he shall have judgment without mercy, that has showed no mercy, and mercy rejoices against judgment," unquote. Let's parse this out. For he shall have judgment. He shall have judgment is only used one time in the King James Bible. It's right here. Without mercy. Well, let's face it. Without mercy, it's either a cruel person or a thoughtless person. That has showed. Now let's look at that and parse that out. That has showed. It's looking at the action of the verb without tense of past, present, or future, or in other words, an aorist tense of the Greek. It's an active voice, which represents the subject as the doer, performer of the action. And the mood is that it's a participle, in other words, an ing or ed. And as we see here, that has showed. No mercy, and mercy rejoices against. So let's look, rejoices against. It's in the present tense, middle or passive deponent voice, which is almost always the case as being an active voice. And it's an indicative mood, which is just stating a fact. Rejoices against judgment. For he shall have judgment without mercy, that has showed no mercy, and mercy rejoices against judgment. Now, let's take a look at John Gill's commentary on the Bible on this verse. Quote, "For he shall have judgment without mercy," unquote. Strict justice and no mercy shown him, quote, that has showed no mercy, unquote, to the poor brethren and distressed members of Christ, but has shown respect of persons to the hurt of the poor, and has despised and oppressed them instead of relieving and comforting them. So the rich man that neglected Lazarus at his gates is refused a drop of water to cool his tongue, and the servant that cruelly insisted on his fellow servants paying him all he owed justly incurred the displeasure of his Lord, and was by him delivered to the tormentors. And that servant that beats his fellow servants will be cut asunder, and have his portion with hypocrites, and such who have seen any of the brethren of Christ hungry, thirsty, naked, sick, and in prison, and have showed no regard for them, will hear, quote, "Go ye, cursed, into everlasting fire, and mercy rejoices against judgment," unquote. That is, merciful men who have shown mercy to the poor saints will not be afraid of the awful judgment, but rather rejoice or glory, as the word signifies, in the view of it, since they will obtain mercy at that day and hear, quote, "Come ye blessed of my Father," unquote. Matthew chapter 25, verse 34 through 36. So the Ethiopic version renders it, quote, "He only shall glory in the day of judgment, who hath showed mercy." And the Alexander copy reads, in the imperative, "Let mercy glory," etc. And the Syriac version, quote, "Be exalted by mercy over judgment," unquote. This ends John Gill's commentary of James chapter 2, verse 13. May God richly bless you with wisdom as you go about your studies in the Bible. Thank you for listening to Discovering the Scriptures.